Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the weekly Steelchair. How the absolute fuck are you doing? I'm glad to hear that you are all back in the chat having fun. Hope you are all doing well. But let me hear you. How is everybody? Catherine's not happy that this show sucked. Very interesting. Surviving is something. Surviving is the right way to go. 35 of those comments were me confused. You're just confused naturally, Glenn. But no, this wasn't to start at 6:30. I don't know where you're getting 6:30 from. Catherine, you're just cruel. I'm only kidding. You're just waiting on Ring of Honor. Fair enough. Maria says good day. Fernando says having a very good day. As long as you guys are having a good day, that's all that matters, you know? If you're not, then, well, don't know how we fix that. But I'll certainly do my best to give you guys a fun day. But, yeah, that is the aim. That is the will of the Force. 1 second. Let me just swap things over just a little bit. There we go. And if I just rerun this. Well, happy birthday to you. Why do people think WWE is racist? I mean, it's quite obvious, isn't it? In the greatest respect, Bleach, isn't it obvious? Like, if you want to put certain things aside, but you want to keep a little bit of an understanding in the right way, WWE have got habits of racism or really hitting certain barriers on racism, and they are proud of it. So yeah, if you want to go down that route, then absolutely. But they have shown for the past 60 years they are absolutely not afraid. But Catherine is spot on. Wrestling in general is the most disgusting business that there is. Like in terms of like heavy money involved, corporate stature, top to bottom. It is absolutely racist, top to bottom. I mean, just look at what they used to do, like fucking back in the 60s. I mean, if you really want to look at it, if you want to discuss this, then I'm happy to oblige. But it's not just WWE, it's the business. But WWE obviously stemmed on it, and they do have a fair bit of racial undertone. They do. How you react to it, how you approach it, that's your own thing, though. That's the only thing. I mean, it's always there, Catherine. It's like reinventing the wheel. See, you say all races are getting a chance to perform, but are they really getting a chance to perform? Think about that. What's up, Tempo? By all means, you get the absolute circumstance about it, but I honestly, there isn't a single professional wrestling company out there that isn't racist or has anything like to do with it. You know, like it's unfortunately everywhere, and getting rid of it isn't as easy. Was WCW less racist? Um, in some ways, yeah. I wouldn't say it's the company overall, but obviously the company has shown it. I think it's more so certain people are of that, and they're very, and I'm not. Well, in terms of the word I'm about to use, they are very proud to act and behave like that. A lot of them are, you know? I'm not. I hate that completely, but I wouldn't just say, oh, yeah, because they're giving them a chance automatically doesn't make them racist. That's like saying, oh, I have a friend of this community. Like, that's like saying, as many people do, which is really stupid because it doesn't do them many favors. That's like saying, I've got XYZ friend in this community. That doesn't make me racist. Um, yeah, it does. You're fine, Temple. The only difference is that's video game related, which obviously I do respect. But what I mean is the main point, of course, and this is definitely situated, is it is everywhere. Whether you like it or not, and rightly so, we should not like it. We should hate it. Change is important. It's how you get the change. Because if you go radical, then it comes back worse. Because we see how people react to radical means to change to make change happen. It doesn't necessarily work. In fact, for the longest time, it didn't work. So you certainly react to that. Yes, that is correct. But you're half right, Fernando. The allegations will not come up at all in this interview. It's purely just Hulk Hogan. It's on Saturday. It's 100% nothing to do with that. I've never watched Japanese wrestling. Is that also? There's a lot of parts of Japanese wrestling that you can consider as more than that. Like, there's actually some elements where they dip into other shit that just isn't my cup of tea that I wouldn't want to see. Okay, let's bring this up. It's a fair question. When it wants to behave, come on. Let me ask you this, Reese. Who can you say that's a minority that is a better wrestler than Bret Hart in all your years of wrestling? As a minority? The Great Muta. I mean, Bret Hart's my favorite wrestler, but I can say it comfortably. I can say it truthfully. The Great Muta. If you want to ask another minority from an athletic standpoint, still deliver the same moves, yeah, Shelton Benjamin. You can also say, if you want to go that far because it's still classed as a minority, you could say Eddie Guerrero. I'm not afraid to answer the question. Some people are. I'm not. If you ask me for, if you think of anyone in a minority group who is better than, like, my opinion, the best wrestler of all time, I would absolutely say those guys. I think that's a very fair question to ask. Uh, Honestly, Josiah, strange questions, but I'm happy to answer them because they're not exactly offending me, and I don't think they're going to offend anybody. The topic came up about, is WWE racist? And then I basically went and said, well, the whole wrestling business on its own. See, the contrast to, is Owen Hart better than Brett? Owen was better at the athletic, high flying style, but not the form that Brett could do on a whole different level. That's why Brett was the bigger star, but Owen was special. Let me ask you another question. Which minority in any form of wrestling can sell tickets like Stone Cold and The Rock? The Sheik. The original Sheik. The man sold out Detroit every single freaking week. The only problem is that he ran it every single week until eventually he had to shut Detroit down. Then he was forced to go and work in Japan to maintain his wild lifestyle. But the Sheik was selling shitload of tickets week in, week out in his own territory, back in territory days. There was another black wrestler. Hold on. I'm just trying to remember. There was a specific black wrestler. Just try to remember his name. Oh yeah. Why am I saying like I'm forgetting his name? Junkyard Dog. Like, Junkyard Dog sold fuckload of tickets in the territory days. Don't believe me? Go back and look. That guy transcended being. He transcended being a successful black wrestler at a time when it was hard to be a successful black wrestler. Junkyard Dog was not a jobber. No. You aren't a jobber if you go to WrestleMania against one of the greatest world champions of all time and beat him in the ring. You ain't a jobber. And also, he had one of the most controversial. Bozo Brazil. That was the other one I was trying to remember. Thank you. Bozo Brazil actually did a lot back then. The difference is, though, is timing. Like, it's hard to really distinguish what is and what isn't a success because hold on 2 seconds. When you look at the business as a whole, you've got to think about, was their time as accurate to anywhere else? You've also got to look at how you are making money and also not drawing money. AEW doesn't need a performance center. I actually argue a performance center is what's ruining wrestling. I actually think the performance center ruins wrestling in general. Like, if you want to learn, you go to a wrestling school. And then you go out into the world and try and make a living. The performance center doesn't do that for me. And there's a fair bit of evidence to support that. What's up, Nick? How are you doing? Tony Atlas was a good start in terms of making money. Like, depends on where you come from. There's a reality of it. Let's say Junkyard Dog won the WWF title in his prime at WrestleMania somewhere. If Junkyard Dog wins, we're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of Junkyard Dogs running around WWE. Junkyard Dog, he wasn't in the business to be a world champion. Junkyard Dog was in the business to enjoy the elements of the business and make it a enjoyable phenomenon for people to watch. He separated success by winning championships to success by firing up the crowds week in and week out and making that special. There's so many factors that actually are so important. Antonio Inoki, absolutely in Japan, 100%. 100%. You can say Rey Mysterio as well, if you want to count him as a minority. Technically, he is. Tanahashi without sling blades, absolutely. So many people have set a different style. Like even like Okada. I mean, Okada set a totally different standpoint. I look at the business as a whole, and I see where it has its impacts, where it has its strengths, where it has its weaknesses. And this is the part that no one's gonna like. And I don't care if this offends someone. I'm happy to say it. Roddy Piper's not a minority, sadly. Evil was actually a top ratings attraction for New Japan a few years ago, which is fucking funny. This is what I'm going to say, and I actually stand by on it. People claim XYZ is a megastar or a big star. XYZ. No, Canadian's not a minority. No. Not at all. Unless they're looking up to Americans, then perhaps, because they always think they're a minority to America, which is not true. No, I'm not mean like that, Josiah, but like a fair example. In some companies, you have to actually stand up against what's out there to actually make yourself look like a star. In contrast to another place, for example, that's got a lot more recognition, power of the game. You can walk in and be positioned quite clearly, and within 2 seconds, someone's calling you a draw or a superstar. Okada says bitch now, but many years ago, Okada was doing a lot more than that. Unique playing standpoint. It's unique. Naito is a draw that New Japan are actually struggling without right now. It says a lot about their situation. Yes, they've offered him a new contract, and I think he should turn it down. Basically, Josiah. Basically. Like, here's a funny thing, right? And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of their style, but I'll use them as an example. If you put me in WWE right now, all the power, all the machine, all the financial investment, and I'm in a segment with someone who is considerably well known, and I get the top rated segment of the show, whether it be a promo or a match, does that make me a draw? Bingo, Josiah. It does not. But half the fucking morons on the internet claim this what makes you a draw. No. Someone gets a good rating for one moment and then straight away, oh, that person's a draw. You wonder why no one takes certain switches from AEW to NXT seriously. Because that narrative is a problem. Like, that's actually a problem. Like, take Blake Monroe. She had a decent segment on her NXT debut, right? And the first thing people said was, oh, Blake Monroe's a draw. She actually was already doing quite well in her own segments in AEW, for example. She was already a draw there and maintained the draw in NXT. Like, people don't get this. They just assume. Like, that's actually a problem, you know? So they don't actually grasp this shit. So there's a lesson, and a valuable lesson at that. I could walk into WWE tomorrow. I could draw over 1 million. That doesn't make me a draw. Just means I got it good that one moment. I got to do it again and again and again. If I don't do it, I would rather be consistent than a one-trick pony, which is what most of these wrestlers are. They're one-trick ponies. And you can bank on that. Are you getting a spot on the pay-per-view? No, I was just thinking of weekly television. Paul Heyman's gimmick is, I want to be every name under the sun except manager because I do not want to be classed like Bobby Heenan. That's Paul Heyman's gimmick. He's been doing it for decades. Bigger Canadian legend, Bret Hart or Roddy Piper? Bret Hart. But Roddy Piper is a different type of legend. Bret Hart is... sorry. Roddy Piper is the legend that just loves to represent more than that. I would say Bret's more of like... He's more of like the straight up Calgary legend. If anything, I think they both bring different aspects to the term legend. But both of them will live on in terms of name. Either or. I would still go for Bret, but I've got nothing against Roddy in terms of his status. That guy was great. He just got shafted in the worst way. Better all round, Jeff Jarrett or Roddy Piper? Piper. Piper's better all round. Jarrett, actually, good promo, good worker, good timing, good presence, good psychology. But I think Roddy had far more charisma. And I think Roddy had far more... He actually nearly brought 2 world champions together to beat them both. That was the WWF champion and the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. That's true, by the way. Like, I could have a good rating for a promo with Paul Heyman. Doesn't make me a draw. It just means I had a good bit with one of the greatest. Yeah, exactly. Right, what's Bleach saying? This brings forth another question. Okay, I love the fact that you said fourth by using the number instead of fourth without the U. I actually like that because it's actually your fourth question. I really like that. Why hasn't anybody made a wrestling promotion that put minorities in the spotlight? Why does it have to be in WWE? I think purely is because of the legacy, the name, and the outright standing point that I personally think people would not care if it was any other organization but them. You know? Like me personally, if there was a promotion that was purely in that sense in America, I would watch. I mean, Lucha Underground technically was kind of like that. It had a variety. But it's not easy. Karrion Kross is very lucky by what he's got beside him. But he does lack a few things. And I do like him. Should minorities revolutionize and create an industry outside WWE that gives them a shine they deserve? I would like it. I would like to see them try that. But I think the question is, why aren't people looking? Instead of, and this is my answer to you, and Catherine's saying there's one there. Instead of asking the question, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that in the slightest. I'm saying, instead of asking the question, why aren't you looking? I feel like that's important if you're from a minority background. Have a look, because then you can go, no, I want this shit covered. I want this to be seen. I want this to be verified and viewed and taken seriously. That, to me, is the best way to counter misrepresentation. Because I want to see things like that stand out. Do you believe Alex Windsor, or is she? Do you believe in Alex Windsor, or is she getting a push because she's dating Will Ospreay? I would say it's a bit of both. She's actually a good worker, but the fact that she's the mother of his, like, her daughter, says it all. Well, their child, actually, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but yeah, right, Alex obviously had a child with him. That certainly stands out. If there's a promotion only for black wrestlers, keep their women's title off Mercedes Moné's site. She might eye that up next. I mean, she would go in and get more eyes on it. I think there's an element of it, you know? I think the problem is not everyone's made to make it in the wrestling business, but wrestling fans have a weird idea that these people should make it when actually they're just fundamentally not suitable. Like, I'll name several wrestlers off the top of my head who should just leave the wrestling business right now. Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. That's just two. Dana Brooke, her entire shitty clan. Maximum Male Models. Johnny Gargano. Jey Uso. Moose. Anthony Bowens. Karrion Kross. Nah, he's got no potential. He's finished. Ridge Holland. He's been in the business too long and he's not good enough. Who else? Cody Deaner. Brian Myers. Everybody in fucking Dark Order. Everyone in Frat House Party. The difference is DDP is world class, Moose is below average. Who else? This is going to hurt a few people. Maxine Dupree. Jade Cargill. Yep, 100%. I'll leave it at that for now. I think Maxine would be much better as a valet. Permanently. Oh, yeah, and another one. Otis. That buffoon needs to be out of wrestling as well. Like I say, cold but it's honest. It might sound harsh, but it's just honesty. Oh, and for my own personal sanity, as long as the House of Torture's still a thing, Ren Narita. Yes, Alicia Fox needs to fuck off. Becky Lynch needs to fuck off out of wrestling as well. Lyra Valkyria, she needs to be careful when it comes to the wrestling business. So does Bayley. Nikki Bella needs to permanently retire and walk away from wrestling. Bleach, go and define that because, for one, I have a relative who has that. I'll tell you who needs to leave the business and just go and do other things because it's actually time for him to move on. The Miz. Logan Paul should never have got in the fucking business to begin with. Do you think Scarlett can be a big star in WWE instead of carrying Cross? 100%. 100%. Great question, Maria. Absolutely. To be fair, she does look like a Lego character. But yeah, I suppose we should do a little bit of news before we crack on with this review, shouldn't we? Okay, put in the chat. Hands up if you're American or live in America. Besides the shitty political side, but hands up if you're American or live in America at the minute. If you're an American citizen. Well, the good thing is, Tempo, is I got her autograph when I met her at a show, and all I'm going to say is that was one heck of an opportunity. Because she's mine as well. Perfect. Mexican born in America. Catherine raised high five. Bleach saying all American American. At least you don't stutter like Jack Swagger. And Maria with the clap. Okay. Hands up who uses Peacock. Lovely, Roy Sheen. Lovely. Tempo's like right in there. You see where I'm going with this? So, There's more coming out about this, but now we're really going to decipher it, or as best we can. I mean, it's pretty much what I do, Tempo. So here's the thing. So as of next year, through Disney, because obviously Disney own the organization, ESPN will now pretty much have the WWE pay-per-view rights to stream. $325 billion times 5 for the deal. They're paying 1.6 billion US dollars to acquire these rights. And funnily enough, if you remember what I said the other day about which pay-per-view is going to be the first to go 2 nights, next year you're going to have SummerSlam and Survivor Series at 2-night events. And then in 2027, it's the Royal Rumble. By 2027, all major WWE pay-per-views, so that'll be the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series will be 2-night events. And you will have to spend $29.99 a month for these events, plus anything else on it, on extra. In contrast, of course, Peacock are now raising their price as well. That's why WWE are now leaving Peacock. Was Vince McMahon anti-British? I think Vince McMahon was anti-life. I think Vince McMahon is the genuine spawn of the devil. In terms of commentary, no idea what you're going to get. I don't know how they're going to balance this or base it. But there's going to be a lot more. And also, when it still goes to ESPN, the the post-show media events will still not go ahead. They are indefinitely stopped. They want to capitalize on the 2-night opportunities for their major events. So I'm going to assume going forward, the men's rumble and the women's rumble will be separated on the 2 nights. Survivor Series will be separated on the 2 nights. They think it's better because it helps clear up their debt. It'll help clear up, like it'll help bring in ad sponsors. It'll bring in revenue, whilst they can lie about their events. It used to be a big 4, now it's a big 5 because they added Money in the Bank to the mix, which should be a closed event anyway. The circumstances are flowing. The circumstances are coming down. It's not, my opinion, feasible. What's Catherine saying that's not crazy? Okay. Can't believe I'm doing this, but I suppose I can do it once in a while. At least it's actually keeping me saved into shit now. Oh, that's good news. Jim Ross will be calling a couple of matches at Forbidden Door. Yes! We will get Jim Ross at the O2 at the end of the month. That is good news. Money in the Bank ladder match should be a Mania. I agree. I don't know what's scarier, the fact that there's a giant fucking bunny on here, or the fact that Michael Cole is still in this seat. I actually have some positive news today as well, actually, I can disclose. Have a good one, Roy Sheen. Look after yourself. I sadly will not be at Forbidden Door. However, I did get my ticket. I'm just above floor seat. I will be at AEW Dynamite at the Hydro August 20th. I will be at the first Scottish Dynamite show 2 weeks on Wednesday. And you know what's even funnier? I got the ticket for 65 quid. Compared to other places where I've went, where I got to go and spend more than 5 times that. Although I do have my means. I think he's going to get the Swerve match and the main event. I don't know what else you might get one. He says a couple, so... I mean, some places I've been to, it's like a couple £100. I got the tickets for this for 65 quid. He will retire soon, I think. He already said this is his last year. Jim Ross will be done by next year, 100%. He'll be done. But yeah, let's get that bunny off screen before Catherine starts to want to kill the thing. But yeah, that was some distinct news. No, I have not, and I'm fine with saying I don't intend on it. What other news have we got? Of course, WrestleVotes have confirmed there are no plans for Cody Rhodes to turn heel in the foreseeable future. Shocking. Roman Reigns is scheduled for Clash in Paris. Who cares? But they're saving that for Rollins, him versus Rollins at a later date. He will be on Raw August 25th in Birmingham, England. Great, we can avoid that. Jesus Christ. Oh, I can't believe he actually said this. On the Clown Show podcast, or as everyone else calls him, Ariel Helwani, Paul Heyman compares the support surrounding Karrion Kross to the rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Jesus Christ. Or actually, this came out yesterday as well, so it looks like Roman will be at Street Fighter from September 2nd to the 26th. Okay. Triple Gaslighter says that WWE's PLEs, shite because they're called pay-per-views, on ESPN beginning 2026 are going to be bigger and more of a spectacle than they've ever been before. Go suck a dick. Yeah, he's on the lagger. This is the last bit of news, then I'm fucking jumping off. And then we'll get some proper stuff. Nick Khan states the deal with ESPN will begin with 10 events being held in 2026 with room to grow. I do wonder where SmackDown's going to end up after 2029 because it's currently on USA and streaming on Peacock. Where will that go? He doesn't believe in hospitals, but Dustin Rhodes is going to undergo a double knee replacement surgery. I wonder how that's going to work. Maybe that was a bit too far, but I just couldn't help it. Maria's asking the question, who should we blame for the return of Brock Lesnar? Triple Gaslight or Balding Chenna? You want the obvious answer? It's the same person who forced one of the worst commentators to pivot on the live show. So the answer is Triple Gaslighter. Because look at what he said on the post show, and then look at what Michael Cole said on Raw. As much as Cena would have asked for it, Cena came out and said that he has been told who he works with, and that's the end of it. Whereas Triple Gaslighter has said, if you want Brock, you've got Brock. It was time to bring him home and all that bollocks. And then Michael Cole says, well, they reached out to him a couple of weeks ago and said it's now time for him to come home. I think the answer's right there, Maria. I think the answer is Triple Gaslighter. Because he's such a bloody mark that he will not allow anyone to be more in tune with him. And it's still funny that he is a representative of the fitness policy. The fact that he is a part of the new fitness module that's been brought in by the US government when the guy he can barely stand his own 2 feet is the one that has to do it. That is just so funny. Someone made a comment saying, what other return that could happen in WWE that'll divide the fans? 100% Vince McMahon by 2026. The way things are going, there's no point not hiding from it now. If Brock Lesnar can walk back into WWE, regardless if he was named or if he's done something wrong or whatever, there's no way now that you can't deny the possibility that Vince McMahon returns to WWE. It's hard. I've been dwindling on my own head for the past couple of days thinking, could he, couldn't he? Is there a slight possibility? Is it a wise call? That's a definite no. But could he return? Yes. Will he? I believe so. Like, I truly believe it. How you guys take it is another thing. How I'm taking it is just, what do I not expect from them anymore, you know? There is nothing that they can do that doesn't surprise me anymore. If they folded, then I would be surprised, because that would be a surprise. But there is nothing they can do that surprises me, you know? It's really just bizarre. Absolutely, James. It's the right way to approach it. Now, onwards and upwards is a funny old saying, but we certainly have a lot to go through it. Oh, Maria, his fake crying face is the biggest fake in wrestling. The guy is a bloody child in a man's body. Cody Rhodes is fake as fuck. He is so incredibly fake. And what's even funnier is when he tries to get angry, he looks like someone on the toilet trying to do a crap. Like, that's what he looks like. He looks like Fat Bastard out of Austin Powers. Actually, that's just gave me an idea. Oh, I'm so going to hell for this. Oh, I'm so going to hell for this. If you're a fan of Cody Rhodes, I recommend you look away in the next. I'm gonna um, say the next minute and a half. I just need that one. Oh, Catherine, I've already paid for a spot, and it's just for my own delight of. It'll be the only time I'll actually feel some heat. That one. That's the one I'm looking for. But no. This is too good. I just need this. Come on. I like editing things, so this is going to be really funny. And then I just do this. Oh, you're about to find out. I'm about to show you what I think of Cody Rhodes' crying face and what he reminds me of. Or better yet, who he reminds me of. And now I just need to close that. This, and then this. Just need to remove your hair, kid. Yeah, I might need to remove. Yeah, I need to remove that. Get rid of his tattoo. All right. Tell me what you think of this. Oh, and something for you, James. Barry Shield and Colwell were both out heavy injury for Chelsea. Oh yes, the planes in Manchester. Here we go. Right. Now there's two of me, don't worry. But this is just pure funny. Right. When Cody gets annoyed or upset, it just becomes really funny. Oh, did I not attach? Oh, you little shit. The only negative impact the G1 has is Gabe Kidd not being at a wrestle to cash the door. It should be fine to still manage it. It didn't add. That's depressing. Let's re-add this because it didn't add for some reason. Oh, you're about to find out. There we go. This is what I think when he gets up, when he gets really annoyed, he gets that angry face. This is Cody Rhodes, what I think. Get in my belly. Yeah, he should have done. Because he makes the facial expression. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's the way he does it, but then again, nothing's funnier than this. Colin Hangman can. Okay, let's get into some dynamics. We've actually been live now for an hour, which crazy. I actually didn't realize. Oh, my hard case. Jesus Christ. I'm not singing that, but that's funny. Okay. So, quite an interesting start, we should say. The show begins with an odd choice of opponent here, and we do have Speedball Mike Bailey versus John Moxley in singles action. I thought this match was actually relatively interesting. I didn't expect it, of course, but that's the first match. I thought MJF's opening promo with the CMLL World title was actually quite good because he was taking the mick out of Hangman Page and Mark Briscoe. But I was very surprised that we had a match base. I was surprised it was Hangman versus Speed. Sorry, not Hangman versus Speedball. Moxley versus Speedball. I don't understand the reason for it to be Speedball when he's got nothing to do with this at all. Like, he actually has nothing to do with this. So it really makes no sense to me, but the match was actually very impressive. I thought in terms of performance, I think Moxley got a lot of good offense in. I thought the submission balances it, contrast to Speedball's kicks. The interference was obviously expected. Is this a match that needed interference? No. Does it show desperation for John Moxley? Yes. But it's the wrong opponent. It doesn't make any sense. Moxley should not be needing interference from Justin Bieber's wrestling cousin and Marina Shafir. You know? Like, doesn't need it at all. I think they got it slightly wrong here. But Moxley does win with the Death Rider. And, well, that's just the reality of it. He does need a vacation, 100%. He does need a vacation. It's just a shame that they got it wrong. Like, they did get this one wrong, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm. That's exactly what I'm thinking, James. That's exactly my mindset. What exactly is the point of it? You know, like it's a good match. This people has nothing to do with this. This would have made sense if it's been someone else that was already part of the whole situation, but I suppose not. Amongst the crowd, Darby Allin appears for the second week in a row. Darby Allin is planting some offense. Yeah, I'm expecting that Mox versus Kevin Knight, and it'll be another good match. Just doesn't add up. Unless Jet Speed are going to be part of Blood and Guts, then I'll say, okay, maybe I was a little bit hesitant, but I just don't know. Darby Allin, of course, from the crowd, drags Wheeler Yuta away. This was just bizarre, but here we go. The Adventures of Gumball is now officially the Adventures of Darby Allin. We find outside in the parking lot, in a body bag, we find Wheeler Yuta. He is rescued by Mox and Shafir, to which point, on his forehead, there's a poster that states Forbidden Door. The challenge is made, Moxley versus Darby Allin at Forbidden Door. What do you guys think? Bro Dido, yeah, don't worry, we'll come to them. If they are building to this, then okay. I just don't know what the overall end goal is. But yeah, they are looking like they're going to make it so for Forbidden Door. But what do you guys think with this? First of all, your thoughts on the match, your thoughts on the post-match angle, and the conclusion. Moxley versus Darby Allin at Forbidden Door. Are you happy with this? Should it be a one-time thing? Do you think it could be more than once? Let me hear you. And don't worry, if you don't like it, absolutely tell me. For me, I feel like this may not be the right way about it. Mox versus Darby for All Out in Canada, not Forbidden Snore. Why not Forbidden Door? It's not the sense of not every match has to have a story, but there should be an element, because this is what people question everywhere. So you've got to have some sort of balance. If they're not tied in, then what's the point? I would like it to lead up to All Out, because I think you can get away with a lot of things in Canada that might be very useful. Kevin Knight, though, is excellent. Forbidden Door is all those promotions, yes. You're still going to have AEW versus AEW talent in some matches, though. Because you're not going to have the War Dogs versus Death Riders now when Gabe Kidd's injured. You're not going to have Gabe Kidd versus Takeshita either, so. Like, who are you going to have Moxley up against? It's not going to be Tanahashi. He's reserved. I doubt you're going to give him someone like Great Okan, who is no longer great. Like, what do you balance it? What do you stand by on? Unless they give Darby Allin a House of Torture member, then okay. We will certainly come to that one. And then I can answer your question from there, but certainly a good question. Fact, short answer. Yes, I did. I really did like it. No, I don't think it'd be Tanahashi versus Suji. If it was up to me, it'd be Tanahashi versus Shibata. If he's available, I would give Tanahashi Will Ospreay. If he's fit to compete, and if he's cleared to compete. Darby Allin should face Moxley in a no-holds-barred Falls Count Anywhere match. I wouldn't mind that. I would not mind that at all. Backstage, obviously, we get... following this situation, we get a video package of Marina Shafir. I'm only kidding. She wishes. Marina's not there for the rest of the time. I want Shibata to be part of the retirement tour. I want Omega to be part of it. I want Ospreay, and I'd like to see Kota Ibushi one last time against Tanahashi. Mercedes Moné arrives at the arena and she mocks Renee Paquette. She has a watermelon in her face and throws it, much like Renee Paquette's commentary career. Like the watermelon, it gets tossed to the side. Backstage, we see Alex Windsor. Just absolutely funny the way that she speaks about herself with Toni Storm. They've got quite an interesting dynamic together, but yeah. Oh, then Tanahashi must win then. Because fuck Cena. Or you have someone and just make it a double DQ, then both retire peacefully. As we know, of course, because it's her little minion, Athena comes out with Billy Starks. Toni Storm would then proceed to follow Alex Windsor. We've got Queen Aminata and we've got Sky Blue. Fatal 4-way match. The winner will challenge for the TBS title. It's a qualifying match, but it's pretty much obvious. The winner will challenge for the TBS title against Mercedes Moné in the O2 in London. Relatively good match from the women. There's not a lot of great matches on this show, if you're being truly honest. But this one actually was an enjoyable one, and I actually did enjoy the interaction. No, I will not call her that. Purely because I still don't know what she's meant to be anyway, but I'm not calling her that. This fatal 4-way is actually not too bad. Everyone involved is actually quite impressive. My only issue is we didn't need Toni Storm or Athena at ringside. I'm actually going to say on the limb here the two respective world champions of their own promotion, or their own divisions, of course, did not need to be here. The hanging thread of Toni Storm, the presence of Athena actually steals away attention from the crowd. If you don't believe me, go watch it back. You can actually see the cameraman getting more eyes on Athena's legs or Toni Storm's headscarf than most of the key points in action. We nearly missed some good moves because the cameraman just can't keep it to himself. A bit like Catherine when she talks about Randy Orton or Tony Khan. This was that cameraman's moment. Really poor production point, but I did like some of the sequences in the match. I thought Windsor especially stood out, despite the fact that she won the match. I thought she was actually a very good standout. Billy Starks, gear to gear, motion to motion. Thought Sky Blue was okay. Not her best performance, but again, she's not been regularly competing, so I can't come at someone like that because that's, for me, quite harsh. But she's still putting a decent performance. And Queen Aminata, she was fine. She was fine. I don't know where she's actually going, though. If I'm being honest, I don't know where she's going. Like, what is her end goal? Is she going to be TBS champion, or is she going to compete in the World Series? Is she going to go back to Ring of Honor and compete there? Like, I don't know. Like, for me, when I look at the Ring of Honor roster in terms of who I would see on AEW, Billy Starks is one of them, Athena, and even though she's injured at the minute, Red Velvet. And I would still include Purrazzo some way, somehow into the main division. But I think Queen Aminata is getting there, but not fully there yet. I feel like she should have been competing more in Ring of Honor as a main single and continuing to graft experience in front of that audience before moving on to AEW. I feel like I think she's being rushed, and it's quite a negative standpoint on her. Again, I think she's got a good look. I like the fact that she doesn't use conventional finishers. So there's a good tie up to her. And I just want to see this division grow from strength to strength. But I feel like you can't grow if there's not more than one match on the cards. I think they need another one to allow options. She is being rushed, Fernando. Look at the level of quality in the match. She's got the far least experience. She is far least experienced than the other three in the ring. And she should not have won last night. The right decision was made. The best way for Mercedes Moné to further show her dominance is to beat someone from the home nation and actually convincingly win. Alex Windsor will give her a good match. It might go about just over 15 minutes, but it'll actually do her well. I feel like if you have Mercedes Moné against Queen Aminata in London, I don't think Queen Aminata is ready for that. But afterwards, I would do it. As a wrestler, no. I disagree. As a character, though, Queen Aminata is presented better as a character than a wrestler. Whereas Alex Windsor is definitely a better wrestler. Alex and Tony should face off against Athena and Mercedes Moné. I would have that at All Out. I actually wouldn't mind that. Like, I would actually go one further. All Out, I would do a winner takes all match. even though we're at Forbidden Door and we're going to have Athena versus Timeless Tony Storm for the AEW Women's World Title, I actually wouldn't mind, say, the TBS title, the Ring of Honor Women's World Title, and the AEW Women's Title be up for grabs. Or you do one against the other. Oh yeah, 100%, James. Yeah, I always think strategically. Or better yet, you don't have 3 titles in the line, but you have 2. Tony Storm's world title versus either the TBS title or the Ring of Honor Women's World title, and the winner takes that championship, and then it's just the manner of it. I think it would be very exciting. Yeah, 100%. It's a good story. It's a fun story, and it strives competition. Like, could you imagine Tony Storm losing her world title to either Athena or, like, actually even one better? She could lose it to her tag team partner, or she could lose it to 2 of her opponents. It's literally when first fall takes the title, and it causes animosity amongst the women. One person could walk out with 3 titles like that. Well, Alex Windsor would be the only one that walks out with 3 titles, obviously, on her own. Or like if Tony Storm was to pin Athena, she takes Athena's title. If Tony Storm pins Mercedes Moné, she takes the TBS title. I actually wouldn't mind that. Mercedes Moné pins Storm, becomes the champion. She pins Alex Windsor. She just wins the match and defends her title. Athena does the same. Pins either or keeps her title. Alex Windsor could win either champion and take their title. I actually think you will force a lot of people to think about, oh fuck, who is going to get what? Because it's happened before. A world championship has changed hands in a tag match before. Multiple mid-card championships have changed hands in tag matches before. And it's been fun. Like, it's been really good. Better yet, tag team titles changed hands in a winner-takes-all match in 24 years ago. And 18 years ago. I got them all locked up here. I would say fucking bring it. Bingo, James. Think of the reactions you're going to get. People probably think, oh, that's stupid, but actually, it isn't stupid at all. It's actually compelling. And you could give that, say, 25, 30 minutes. Sorry, Catherine, you're not going to like that. But you can give that 25, 30 minutes and it could be a main event. Like the main event. What can I say? I'm quite the thinker. But of course, we do get the victory from Alex Windsor, and we then get a quick assault from Athena and Mercedes Moné. They are left standing tall. I quite like that. That was really well done. What was not maybe not well done, but confusing, maybe. The Don Callis family are out next. celebrating the championship success of Kyle Fletcher after he was victorious in winning the TNT Championship in the street fight not too long ago. I just want to say off the bat, I thought this segment was going to have potential because I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're going to get a normal victory celebration for Kyle Fletcher, which he deserves. And I'm like, okay, we're going somewhere. We're going somewhere. Don Callis has given him a disgusting painting. That mm, that reminded me of a segment quite a while ago, if you remember, about Don Callis and a portrait that he had where he was, well, you know. I can't take that seriously. That portrait ruined this for me. What I did like was the follow up, though, that at least saved that a little bit. We will have the TNT title defended at Collision this weekend. I'm eager to see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. Considering their walking enemy, it is bizarre. Yeah, the portrait was a huge letdown, James. It was so bad. Hechicero and casual clothing. I need more of that. We also got to see all three championship belts that the Rainmaker himself, Kazuchika Okada, holds. Again, that actually stole away from him a little bit. I don't know. Don Callis has an obsession with nakedness in his portraits, and I'm like, mate, please stop with this. Just have him standing with the title looking strong. I think Don Callis has a fetish, and not a good one. We get a backstage interview from Adam Copeland. He says he wants, he will fight, of course, Stokely halfway next week. And FTR are going to void the restraining order if they get involved. This was so bad. No, Catherine, we don't. Keep your horniness to a minimum. Backstage, of course, FTR try to hype up Stokely. You can't hype up Stokely halfway. He's fucking shite. And of course, they mug off Copeland and his family, and we all know what's going to happen there. I'm sorry, but this was hard. Like, I can't take them seriously together. FTR, the longer they stay with Stokely Hathaway, they mean nothing. They mean nothing. Stokely Hathaway is the worst manager in AEW. After Forbidden Door, I think. I think it'll be after Forbidden Door. Leading up to All Out, they're going to really entice it, you know? But again, I just can't take that seriously. Catherine's just a whole different level of horny that needs. She needs hosed. A proper hose down. Backstage, the former EVPs, the Young Bucks, demanded respect. This was absolutely funny. Copeland versus Stokely Hathaway is going to be the worst AEW match of 2025. I can say that with confidence. It's going to suck balls. So, if you do like that, that wasn't for you. The Young Bucks obviously demanded respect from the the production crew and Justin Roberts. The cue cards were absolutely hilarious. The struggling to lift the Titantron was so weird. Like that was almost like further punishment, but I'll take it. I'm still trying to understand that entrance. I thought I burst out laughing, but it was still different. Listed, of course, on the screen, they were listed as Max and Jeremy, which is actually what they were called as Generation Me and TNA. There were jobbers chants. Justin Roberts is really coming into his own again for the first time in a long time. It felt good. I'm liking this. The jobber chant really pissed them off, but I thought that was so fucking funny. And of course, we get to action because they are up against Brody King and Bandito, the former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. I thought this match was actually the best match on the card. Jokes. The main event was, but this match was excellent. This is what I want to see that maybe we should have got last week. I don't particularly like the Outrunners, but if you're going to say you're going to put them over, you put them over. I like that in this circumstance, we got exactly this. Jesus, Catherine. You horny she-devil. I really enjoyed this match. I love the difference. This is good partnership. The speed, pace, and power of movement and transition that you get from Bandito versus a sheer nightmare in Brody King. Like, this is Pro Wrestling 101 for a tag team. Big man, small man. It fits well. And the crowd are on your side. And even better yet, the heels nearly won this convincingly. We nearly got the win with the Meltzer driver. Didn't happen. I like that we got the unnerviness from Bandito and Brody King teaming together. There was a little bit of nerve, unsure how to work with each other, building their chemistry. Because obviously, Buddy Matthews is out injured. He's going to be away getting a surgery. We're on the cusp of something good here. I actually think this could be a very good tag team champion. I wouldn't mind it if Brody King and Bandito won the tag titles. Really liked it. I can't get any further than what I saw and what I enjoyed, but I loved it. So thanks for that. And we nearly, obviously, it was almost the X-Knee 21 plex combination that won the match, but it didn't. But honestly, I do recommend if you haven't watched this match, give it a watch. It is actually really good. At ringside, following this match, the Swerve VP, even though he doesn't call himself one, of course, Brody have advanced they've advanced in the tournament standings to face the Hurt Syndicate. At ringside, Renee lost her career as a commentator but loves watermelon. Paquette interviews Swerve Strickland, and he made it short, sweet, and straight to the point. He wants to win the unified title. And of course, under the Continental Classic rules, there will be no interference. There will be no one at ringside. It will just be Swerve versus Okada. He does not fear Okada, but he knows that his recent record in London the past couple of years has been incredibly shit. He lost the coffin match. He lost the world title both times in London. His record in terms of AEW events in the UK is particularly crap. If you're a betting man, Swerve loses at Forbidden Door. But if you're a clever individual, Swerve may actually win. Okada, of course, is not at the show, so we do not get the rebuttal from Okada, which is actually fine by me. But we do get a nice little video package of both men before the match in a couple of weeks' time. This is going to be one of the best AEW matches of the year. I'm really looking forward to Swerve versus Okada. It's going to be hard hitting. The last shot versus the Rainmaker. Well, kill shot. I'm just saying last shot because some people get offended by the word kill for some reason. I fucking love this. Really love this. They seem to be causing animosity behind the scenes, but one thing they do is they do make you feel enjoyable. The Hurt Syndicate have promised either FTR or Brodito at Forbidden Door will be hurt. MJF got his third thumbs down. And then the revelation that I think everyone was waiting for has finally come through. MVP has finally made it clear. If MJF goes for and wins the AEW World Title, Bobby Lashley will come for the title. Now, I think Shelton Benjamin should be in the mix for one of the stronger mid-card titles. Bobby Lashley should go for the world title. But if it's MJF versus Lashley for the world title, 1, 2, 3, sign me up. I would be okay with that. If it happens, when it happens, I'm all in. Guys, what did you think of the Swerve promo? I thought it was excellent. What did you think of the video package? What do you think of the fact that MJF now has the 3 thumbs down and he's now been warned that Lashley will come for him if he takes the world title? What do you guys think? Let me hear you. The funny thing is, so let's see. James says, I think the build up to Lashley going for MJF if he does get the world title should be interesting. I'm for it. I think they're actually maintaining some consistency. Fernando says Wardlow is coming back to back up MJF versus Bobby Lashley. I see it. I just don't want it. I actually think the better option is Hammerstone. I think Hammerstone's a better fit. I think Wardlow has lost so much that he actually should stick to just doing other televised roles. It's not that he's a bad wrestler. The guy just can't stay healthy. This Swerve promo needed a bit more fire. What do you think you could have added to? I think it should have been a face-to-face confrontation between Swerve and Okada. I think they should have been face-to-face, or even Okada through satellite, just for entertainment. I would have taken that. I think his promo was good, but I do see what you mean by maybe it needed a little bit more. There's some elements you could have added, but I like the fact that this is a match they're focusing on, and I like it. It's a positive feud. I still think Okada wins, but I wouldn't be against it if Swerve does beat him. You know? I, oh, hold on. Looks like someone had to fix my internet as well. By the looks of it, I'm getting bounced about like a fucking spectrum. What did Captain Blue get stuck in a crossfire with Captain Black and then Captain Skullman? I'll come back for the dead one more time. All grounds basis. That's where we're at. But Zodiac, we're actually at the bit where MJF has obviously now received his thumbs down. Swerve's promo, and then MVP warning him that he's coming for the world title. What is your takes on this, Zodiac? What do you think? Ha, yeah, Catherine, Generation Me is all elite. That's actually quite good. I miss the days of when they were called Generation Me. I thought it was very cool, very different. I thought Swerve was sloppy as hell on the mic. Okay, I'm still not convinced the Hurt Syndicate isn't working us. Reasonable. I think we're gonna find out though. I actually think, see if they're not working us and they actually are teasing the split and they do it, good, because MJF doesn't need to be in the Hurt Syndicate anyway. I feel like it actually holds him back. And I think it holds Lashley back from going after MJF. Because they shouldn't hold that back, in my opinion. I feel like that's a mistake. Queen Aminata has an interview. Doesn't really get much. I want the American Wolves to get back together. Oh, I hope not. I do not want to see Davey Richards back on any television. Potentially not holding them back, but it's more the potential of where did they actually progress from it, because you can't have MJF and Lashley in the same group if one of them's world champion. I feel like that's just I feel like it's like a fire waiting to be spread with more gasoline to cause a big explosion. Willow interviews Queen Aminata's interview. Again, what a bad decision. And then, of course, there was the Chris Statlander. Yeah, that was that. Hangman Page, before the main event, tells Mark Briscoe that he admires him and he hopes to defend against the world title soon. Sure, okay. Mark Briscoe, on the other hand, MVP's proven the point that Lashley will always be that big threat, I think. Doesn't matter how far he goes, he will always be that person where you'll go like, oh, by the way, this guy is here, and he will take that title from you. This is a physical battle. I do like this. The other thing as well, the CMLL title has now been rechristened as the CMLL World Championship. I don't know how much MJF is going to get away with that, you know? But again, this was a very aggressive match. Very early on, we get a table spot. Mark Briscoe setting up the tables. We then get the "We want tables" chant. This chant must die. Mark tries to put MJF through it with the froggy bull. It doesn't work. Mark barely gets back into the ring at the 10 count, but then gets caught with a heat seeker for the 3 count. He looked very rough. I agree. He did get his foot on the rope, but Well, the ref did miss it, but that was really bad. Like the finish was bad, but it was violent, and I like the use of the diamond ring. Again, like that is still a key point in his arsenal. And you can see that MJF knows what he's doing when it comes to that ring. Like he really makes it a moment, and you remember he's got it, and then you forget at times, and you're like, "Well, when's he going to use it next?" He bitched Mark Briscoe in the face with that bloody ring last night. It was a grudge match, as it was built to be, and it felt like it. I actually think though they got it wrong. This should have been a street fight. As an all-round wrestler, he is very well. He is very well good. He has it more nailed down now. His wrestling ability has finally got back to where it needs to be. My only concern is for how much longer, because I wonder if MJF is starting to think, actually, I can do so much more now in other ways. I think he's ready to divulge into other projects. That's a glass full. And it still feels more stable it still feels more stable than an Orange Cassidy promo. I think he will be world champion again, but not the next world champion. I think he might be the next world champion. That's why I said I had a theory before we went live. So first of all, beat the living shit out of him. The Hangman Page comes out. Briscoe looked really good in this main event as well. At Forbidden Door, it looks like we're going to get Page versus MJF. Again, where's the New Japan involvement? Where's the CMLL involvement or Stardom? It's not really becoming that. It's more one-sided, and I'm not a fan. I want all four to be involved. Whether we get Hangman versus Briscoe or Hangman versus MJF, or we get the triple threat, then we're gearing up to something. Hangman's title reign should not be short, like incredibly short. However, I think Briscoe is in the match because he might actually be the one that leads to MJF using his title shot. What if the possibility is we don't get one match at Forbidden Door, we get two? Swerve's promo skills don't suck, but that wasn't his best promo. Trick Williams is nowhere near Swerve's ability. Ever. He'll never come close. He will. He'll be part of the Death Riders of Blood and Guts, in my opinion. Which I've already said before. I think he'll be involved with them at Blood and Guts. He doesn't need them per se. He should just use them. Use them to get ahead, then abandon them. Instead of salt in the earth, a little bit of salt in the wound. You know what I mean? Those factors make it more interesting. But we'll see. I think for sure it wasn't the strongest episode. I think Hangman as champion for say 3-4 months is fine. If he's world champion, say, and he loses the belt World's End, I'm okay with that. Although I would like to see Omega become a heel world champion again. Briscoe versus MJF and the world tag team title tournament eliminator has probably been the best stuff recently. But Collision seems to be getting the better wrestling matches than Dynamite. Dynamite seems to be more of the story element at the minute instead of doing both, whereas Collision is managing both strongly. The tag match I thought was excellent, Zodiac. I really enjoyed it. I'm eager to see what happens next. I think if they can maintain some strength and continuity over the next couple of weeks, then we'll see what they deliver at Forbidden Door. I don't know what to expect at Forbidden Door. I mean, obviously, I'm not there this year, but I'm gonna be at the Dynamite Go Home show. I'm gonna be there, so there is no. I was gonna do a watch along for it. I'm now going to the show, but I want to just see how it ends up. So I'm looking to find out. I'm certainly looking to find out. It is now. Well, UK time is 9:51. And I'm thinking, we haven't done one in a little while. So I'm thinking we go. $37.5 minutes. And we'll do one Q&A and then we'll wrap up for the night. Because that'll take us up to 10:30 p.m. my time. But yeah. Fire away, folks. Little end of the show Q&A. There we go. There's the banner. Ask what you like and we'll certainly see what you've got. How do you personally think Hangman Page title reign should end? I think he should lose. I think he should lose it clean. I think we need to see a decisive winner against Hangman. I don't think taking off him in a screw finish actually does it any favors. I think he needs to be beaten decisively, and it needs to be either MJF or Kenny Omega that does it, in my opinion. Oh yeah, they will certainly try and find a way to do it, and they'll regret it, but they'll try. I am certainly confident about that. I think Vince will return in 2026. Jake Hager's announced his retirement. Bless him. Bless him. He can go and swagger somewhere else. Yes, I actually brought that up, funnily enough, earlier on. People are going to say, "Oh, oh, it's a good comparison." I'm like, "Are you insane?" People are not getting behind Karrion Kross the way that Stone Cold did, like they did for Stone Cold. I think Heyman is trying every means possible to try and suck up to Karrion Kross. I think that was absolutely pathetic. I think it's a cheap comparison by Paul Heyman. He should know better. Should Hangman lose to new talent to elevate the business? No. No. Cross has just come out and said nothing has been done with WWE contract wise. So the reports are incorrect then. Interesting. Oh, well, this weekend, Karrion Kross, out the door. You'll be shot out with a boomerang. Which was better, Seth's cash in at Mania or SummerSlam? The SummerSlam one was ridiculously crap. The Mania one, because it was against that chump Roman Reigns, especially. I'll go with the Mania one. The SummerSlam one I don't rate at all because I don't like the way they've been mismanaging their product, the way they built up to it. Should AJ Styles go to AEW? He should have went a long time ago. He should have done a quick stint in TNA, then gone to AEW. He'll regret it. Top 5 cash in ever. Number 1 and number 2 is both Edge cash ins. Number 3, CM Punk on Jeff Hardy. Number 4 is Seth Rollins on Roman Reigns. Number 5, Big E on Bobby Lashley. I'm going to say it now. None of the women's cash-ins have impressed me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Ali beating him in the ring. Top 5 G1 matches this year. Takeshita versus Zack Sabre Jr. That's right up there. Zack versus Shota. And then Shota went and embarrassed us soon after that. Tsuji versus Tanahashi, despite the result. Gabe Kidd versus Takeshita. And Drilla Maloney versus Zack Sabre Jr. Who are the top 5 best women in professional wrestling today? She's one of them. I don't care. Deonna Purrazzo, Tam Nakano, Mercedes Moné, Toni Storm, Chelsea Green, and Stephanie Vaquer. For me, it's 6 of them. Masha Slamovich is still the best TNA regardless because nobody really comes close. Your favourite Bret Hart move besides the sharpshooter, the figure 4 round the ring post, and his pile driver. And also his suplex. Who are the top 5 men in professional wrestling? Will Ospreay, Yota Tsuji, Gabe Kidd, still going to say AJ, just the fact he's been working with Second Degree Burns, which is the WWE creative. And I'll say Josh Alexander still. But Mustafa Ali and Nick Nemeth are just outside that for me personally. Top 5 Brett versus Owen matches. WrestleMania 10, SummerSlam 94. Brett and Bulldog versus Neidhart and Owen. They're the only ones I actually like the most. I don't overrate Stephanie Vaquer at all. I think I can ask you a question of your own. Why do you call everyone jobbers? Rank the revolving door horseman members. Lex Luger's the worst. That's the only bit that matters. To be honest, I don't really care about the revolving door members, if that makes sense. Like, they actually don't interest me. I only like one version of the Horseman, and that's it. Like, I only like one. Perfect versus Hart King of the Ring finish. Did you like the reversal? I did actually. I actually thought that made it better than the SummerSlam match, because the SummerSlam match was a perfect reversal as well into the sharpshooter, but the reversal in the Hart match is so much better. What changes would you make to the tag division WWE? It needs something to be done big time. Plain and simple. Unless WWE do a proper brand split and they do brand pay-per-views again, the tag division should be one championship. Otherwise, you actually focus on the tag teams, because I don't feel like they're actually being focused on. I actually think they're not getting enough. I think there's too many similarities in the tag teams. There's not enough diverse tag teams, and that's my problem. If there's not enough difference in tag teams, how am I supposed to enjoy it? Willow Nightingale's not a jobber. Better Rock heel characters. Corporate Rock is not a Hollywood Rock, Corporate Rock, Nation, Final Boss. Final Boss is actually dreadful. The Nation Leader was quite good, but Corporate Rock and Hollywood Rock are the only two that stand out. Like, they're his best. The promo was shit, but I still laughed when she took the mick out of the clown. For me, it's the third most underrated theme song. For me, the most underrated theme song is Tajiri's. Then it's Taz. Then it's Jake Roberts. Vader and LOD. Brooklyn Brawler is how you identify a jobber. Gilbert is a definite jobber. A jobber loses every week. Willow Nightingale doesn't. A jobber is brought in to be enhancement talent. Your favorite ECW match ever? Well, my favorite ECW wrestler obviously is Raven. My favorite ECW match is Terry Funk versus Cactus Jack. So I've got to name my favorite tag team out of these choices: Money Inc., the Nasty Boys, the Natural Disasters, and the Beverly Brothers. This might shock you. Out of these four tag teams, my favorite is the Natural Disasters. But I'm a big fan of Money Inc. I just hate Ted DiBiase. I want him to rot in hell. How is Stephanie Vaquer so much better, in your opinion, than the majority of the women we have today? I think the majority of the women we have today are far too similar, whereas she's not. The only thing I don't like about her is the Devil's Kiss move. Like, Asuka is one of my favorite women's wrestlers, but she's fallen off a cliff. Because he fucking scammed people out of charity money. Money that was supposed to go to organizations to help them, and he scammed them. And the guy's a priest. Him and his son scammed people out of money. He's a horrible bastard. Horrible bastard. Your favorite Raven storyline ECW is the storyline of for how he eventually lost to Tommy Dreamer, to be honest. That was a great storyline. Yep. Everybody's got a price. The funniest one, though, of those vignettes for me was 100% the vignette when he stole the swimming pool. The $1 million vignette, the $1 million belt vignette was hilarious, but when he stole the fucking swimming pool, I laughed. I can't do the laugh. Willow doesn't lose every week, though. Favorite Shawn Michaels opponent besides Brett? My favorite, excluding Brett, my favorite Shawn Michaels opponent is Kurt Angle, even though they only wrestled 3 times. Not The Undertaker, even though they had the best Hell in a Cell match. It's not Triple H because that was an overused one match stipulation. It wasn't Stone Cold, despite the good matches they had. Owen Hart had good matches with him, but for me, yeah, it's Kurt Angle. 100% Kurt Angle. Worst match in WrestleMania. Well, okay, that's an interesting question. Worst match. Chris Jericho is a great one. Worst match at WrestleMania that you would change and put yourself in it to make it a classic. Well, I'm not going anywhere near the Usos scandal. I did like that one. Jericho's actually my second favorite Shawn Michaels opponent after Angle and Brett. Like, third if you rank Robert. If you remove Brett, if Bret Hart didn't exist, Chris Jericho is my second favorite opponent for Shawn Michaels behind Kurt Angle. Taker's after that. Worst match at WrestleMania that you would change, put yourself in it to make it a classic. Well, the worst match I've ever seen at WrestleMania is Pimp versus Pleb, which is Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. But the worst match that I could put myself into to make it a classic. That was a good one time only match. I quite enjoyed that. All right, then. I would take myself. I know what match I would put myself into. I would. I would remove Roman Reigns from the match against The Undertaker, and I would beat The Undertaker and retire him. There you go. Or I would remove GBL against Rey Mysterio, and I would win the Intercontinental title. In fact, no, I know exactly what I would do. The only other option, I would remove Alberto the Prick, and I would take the world title from Edge. So there's free. There's free for you. Interesting, but again, Jobber's an enhancement talent. If that's what you want to call them, cool. I've already said who I consider a jobber. I've already said like who I think are jobbers. Like Max Caster is a jobber. Gilbert is a jobber. Brooklyn Brawler is a jobber. Stevie Richards at one point was just a jobber. Cody Deaner, the biggest pleb on the planet, is a jobber. I don't think there's much else. What would be the last match you watch on your deathbed? That match would physically kill me, Josiah. That match would literally kill me. If I want to have a slow death, I'm watching Tanahashi versus Nakamura the first Hell in a Cell, Unbreakable '05, and then hopefully I die watching the Steve Austin match versus Bret Hart at Survivor Series '96. Akira Tozawa is a huge ass jobber, and so is Truth. Cody Rhodes says Randy Orton has replaced Undertaker as WWE's leader. Well, Randy's still going. Taker's pretty much, yeah. But Cody Rhodes, when Cody speaks, he's probably crying on the inside anyway because nobody considers him a leader. R-Truth is a former world champion that now means fuck all. That's the best way to describe him. He's an afterthought. Brooklyn Brawler or Barry Horowitz? Barry Horowitz. Because Barry Horowitz had a great gimmick thanks to Dutch Mantel. He actually begged Dutch Mantel not to let him win a match. When they announced that he had to win, he actually begged not to. And then eventually he did win. And then he went back to losing. Brooklyn Brawler just sucks balls. How would you have booked the Brood? Honestly, the exact same way they were booked was fine with me. I liked it. The only difference is, after they turned, I would have had them win the tag titles and the Intercontinental title the minute they were kicked out of the ministry. That's the only difference. They should have won it early. I don't like the fact that Edge and Christian won 7 tag titles in the space of 1 year after winning their first. They won their first tag titles and then 364 days later, they won their 7th together. I don't like that. If you are a GM today and drafting for a show, who are your top 5 picks? Just throw all names from all companies into the hat. Can I do men and women separately, or does it have to be men and women combined as 5 picks? Thank God, because if it's 5 men plus women all in the same, I'm just refusing to do it. The women, Chelsea Green, Deonna Purrazzo. I'm choosing Tam Nakano. Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm. For the men, AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, Yota Tsuji, Kazuchika Okada, and Swerve Strickland. And then straight after that, Mustafa Ali, Santana, Leon Slater. This one might shock you, but I have my reasons. Seth Rollins and Ilya Dragunov. The next 5 women: Sky Blue, Julia Hart, Vakur, Asuka, bringing her back and use her properly, Shayna Baszler. And last one. Masha Slamovich. So there's 10 of each. And then whoever's there for the rest, I don't care. Top 5 Victoria matches. Number 1 is Victoria versus. Actually, it's not even Victoria. It's Tara versus Angelina Love. It's pretty obvious. Victoria versus Trish Stratus. I was going to say hardcore match, but that's a lie. Unforgiven 2002. Takeshita would definitely be on my roster as well. I would slip him in under the radar. Under the radar, like bring him in like a hitman and just kill people. Tara versus Mickey James. Victoria versus Molly Holly. And then the WrestleMania 19 triple threat. She deserves more respect than she's actually got. I hate that. Top 5 TNT title matches in TBS. Well, the Wrestle Dream triple threat is the best TNT title match. Actually, no. Jericho, Christian Cage versus Darby Allin, 2 out of 3 falls. Guevara versus the Failing Redeemer. Brody Lee versus Cody Rhodes, because I like the fact he just bitches Cody Rhodes and takes the title. And I like it because I was there, but for different reasons. Jack Perry versus Darby Allin. I actually like their match. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. And then Darby Allin versus. Actually, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Wardlow. TBS title. Statlander ending the streak. Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale versus Sky Blue in the no holds barred match they did on Collision. Mercedes Moné versus Azumi. And to be honest, Statlander versus Willow Nightingale is good as on its own. Book your all-time women's wrestling show combination of any era. Combination? In what way? My all-time women's wrestling show combination. If it was up to me, I'd just have Bill Nakano just win all the titles and Deonna Purrazzo takes some of them off her, and then that's your two champions. Dream all-women wrestling show. I don't know how I would manage that. Gail Kim and Charlotte is your main event? Okay. For me, it's Bill Nakano versus... For me, my main event is Bill Nakano versus Deonna Purrazzo. I wouldn't move a muscle. I would be like proper glued to the screen. Lita versus Medusa would be alright. Asuka versus Bill Nakano would be good. I would need to put in a lot of thought to book something like that. I would need a lot of thought, to be honest, to book a all-time women's wrestling show combination, because I would have to really divulge it. I mean, look what I did booking 3 shows of my own Forbidden Door concept. I got really, like, stuck into it, you know? Not as big. Not as big, really. How would you book the road to Wrestle Kingdom? Who are your world title contenders and who wins the... Ooh, the tag league. That's a hard one. Just because of the circumstances of what she went through as well. It's not easy. That's a good one, Josiah. Booking Daphne's career, for one, I would have actually saved her TNA career, because I would not have made her do that match where it all went wrong in terms of concussion. I would not give her that stupid match against that oversized Gannett that actually ended her career with the... Well, you saw what happened to Daphne, what ended her career, basically. The road to Wrestle Kingdom, my world title contenders, Yuya Uemura, Evil, David Finlay, Zack Sabre Jr., and Goto. And I would have... Well, Gabe Kidd, obviously, we don't know when he's going to be back, but I would still have him involved somehow. I would certainly have Zack Sabre Jr. defend against all of them, except the G1 winner. I would have them lose. I know they have their shot for the world title. I would actually have the loser... Sorry, the G1 winner, I would actually have them lose to Goto, and I would give Goto the world title shot at Wrestle Kingdom. How would you book Brock Lesnar for the next few months? Pink slip out the door. Because they've picked the wrong time to bring him back, in my opinion. I think they should have waited. Realistically, he could. Realistically, he could dominate New Japan. Because he's done it before. And he would walk in right now and make it easy. Won't be much longer before Roman's gone, put it that way. And I will celebrate that. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're about to get out here, I just want to say until he faced Oleg, yeah, Oleg would murder him. He probably will be because of social media and the fact they'll keep pumping out his records, but I've got no interest in remembering Roman Reigns. I intend to forget as quickly as possible. How would you book Cena's matches going forward? Honestly, the way Cena lost to SummerSlam, Cena should have just bowed out there and then. And just stayed off TV until the Boston thing and just have his last hurrah. I think, personally, even though I don't care about it, I think they should have had Styles versus AJ, Styles versus Cena, even though I don't actually think about that feud as much. I don't really care. Should Kurt Angle be brought back to face Cena? Kurt Angle should have retired against Cena, personally, because that's what he wanted. But we never got it, so absolutely Abu. I think whoever Cena gets, have him put them over. He shouldn't be winning any more matches now. That's it. He should go on a losing run, and then he should bow out a loser in Boston. But that's just my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight. It's a pleasure as always. I will be back tomorrow. Remember, Josiah's back as well this weekend. It's certainly one that we're all going to enjoy, and that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you all tomorrow. Stay safe, stay tuned. And and one other thing. There's an important phrase, and it goes like this. Arrivederci, mis amigos. Buenas noches. Adios.